like working in the conditions that the new board majority has created through the firings of great people and the hiring of friends and family, whether it's a spouse of a stepdaughter or not. No one deserves to be treated like this. I want to go on record with the workers of the Plainfield Park District that I am sorry that you've had to endure this since last May. Please know that there are a great many residents of this wonderful community that are behind you. As has been requested a number of times, but clearly bears repeating, Mr. Hurtado, you need to take full responsibility for your actions as president of the board and step down immediately. Mr. Thiis, you also need to resign from the Parks District Board immediately. Ms. Solosky, you shared some very serious information with us in last week's meeting. While this is greatly appreciated, I find this to be a crossroad for you as a member of this board. You have been very supportive for many parts of the decisions made by Mr. Hurtado and Mr. Thiis since being seated last May. You mentioned that you questioned if you were provided with the information needed to make an informed decision in the past. If you are now ready to make independent decisions that you believe are in the best interest of the Park District, the staff, and the residents, you may find support in due time. However, if the move last week was a strategic political move, I would also ask that you resign from the board, as there is no room for political agendas on the Park District Board. I now ask that any residents in attendance tonight that share the same feeling about the immediate resignations of Mr. Hurtado, Mr. Thiis, as well as Ms. Solosky, if she does not want to be part of the solution going forward, to please stand up and show their endorsement of this request. It's been long enough. There have been words about doing the right thing and accepting responsibility. Now's the time to act and let the true stewards of the Park District start working on fulfilling our Park District mission once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else would like to address the board? All right, let's move on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda? Do I have a second? Discussions. Hearing none, roll call please.
Thiis.
Yay.
Ruben. Yes. Hayden.
Yes.
Solosky. Yes. Hurtado.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, staff report. Can you call order?
Yes, sir. I've got Steve here from Hitchcock Design to do a short but thorough presentation, just to keep the board up to date with the projects he's been helping us out with, and it's good info time.
All right, hi, I'm Steve Connor from Hitchcock Design Group. So we've been retained by the Park District to assist with planning services since December. And what we've done over that time is we've conducted meetings with the staff to review what projects in the short term need attention and figure out what staff can do and what they need assistance with. And we've also attended other meetings regarding with the village and the Riverfront Foundation to assist in that role as those projects go forward. A few of the key projects that are currently in action right now that we're helping out with are the DuPage River Trail and the DuPage River Trail Bridge. Both of those projects are grant-funded projects. The DuPage River Trail is completely permitted and ready to bid for construction. There is a piece of that that is related to Village and Riverfront Foundation. We did meet with those parties before, and we will be meeting with them in the future to talk about some potential design changes and also construction scheduling with some of the events that have to occur out there with over the summer to make sure that construction of the river trail doesn't negatively impact the events that they're planning on holding along the riverfront. There's another piece of that, which is the DuPage River Trail Bridge project. That one is currently being designed with ERA. There's an engineering consultant on that job. And so that's in preliminary design phase right now, and that'll be coming forward to Park District staff to review preliminary designs, and at some point it'll be coming back forward to the board for final review of the design before that goes out for bid construction as well. That'll also be coordinated with the Riverfront Foundation and the village. There are a few other projects that are a little smaller but are going on right now. Four Seasons needs concrete blocks and parking lot paving, so we're assisting staff with those projects as that moves forward. Rivertown's path resurfacing and some path alignment at Riverside Park. And then we're also assisting with looking at some reserve. There's a developer coming in for a subdivision that has requested a emergency access through Eden Preserve. And what they want to do is construct that trail more as a bike path that will serve as an emergency access for this fire district. The reason is they have to have 2 accesses to that subdivision by code. And so the secondary access, they're hoping to get an easement through the park. And to do that, they would be willing to construct the pathway with their dollars. And it would really serve as a multi-use path. What we're trying to do right now is work with both the village and the fire district to determine what will be allowed, because we don't want that to really be a road. We want that to be a pathway first and emergency access second. Currently, the fire district is indicating a 16-foot wide path would be acceptable. We're trying to see if there are some other solutions or options available to get that to be a little bit narrower. So again, it will really act as more like a park path. So at that point, I'll just open up for any questions.
Well, I was with Park District, and they said you're like a breath of fresh air. I've been trying to get information from our past planner for ages since I've been here. And so, you haven't been there, you don't know what's going on.
I have been there.
No, we didn't.
We should do it at a post meeting.
Please.
Well, anyway, like I said, I'm happy to see we get some straight answers on regards to a lot of these projects, been hanging out over our head. And, thank you for being here.
I wanted to ask Steve or anybody else, maybe they can answer, word evidence to support the belief that the planning department would be necessary for the foreseeable future, since that was the reason you were gotten rid of, and also that the cost of taxpayers would be less by using a consultant. Steve, I have the greatest amount of respect for you professionally. I think you're put in a horrible position. I hope you don't take anything personally, but I think it's a wrong decision to choose a consultant for the planning staff, which we had previously. Listening to Steve up here the last couple of minutes sounded exactly like Cameron Benning. What services have you provided thus far to the district?
So far, we've attended the meetings we started meetings actually with Cameron and other staff to talk about where the project status was. And so from there, we've had meetings with the foundation to coordinate the riverfront projects, and we've had coordination with both ERA and Baxter Woodman, the firms that are doing the engineering for those 2 projects. And then we've also had some meetings to discuss, with Ryan Holmes, talk about the Eden Preserve Trail, and we've reviewed some of their plans as well.
And how much have you billed the district?
So far, there's only been 1 invoice out there. I don't know the exact amount. I want to say it was under $2,000.
And do we have any anticipation how much you'll be billing us over the next 12 months?
No, the only thing that we're really currently aware of is that we're around the $5,000 mark since we started in December through the services through January.
Have you provided a scope of services to the district as far as, or been given a list of projects that you've been asked to bill towards the district?
Right now, our contract is for an hourly basis not to exceed the $5,000 cap for general services, which is to help try to identify what the projects are going to be. And then from there, we would be able to provide more detailed proposals on a project-by-project basis as needed.
So in my view, I think that we can't justify agreeing to the services of a consultant without a specific list of tasks for them to perform, and I think it would be foolish of us to enter into an open-ended agreement with the consultant without a scope of work and agreed upon scope of work.
Thank you for coming and giving a nice presentation in the packet and everything. Obviously, this is not a good time for you to be here, as I'm sure you've picked up on. But just at what you said about $5,000 for 1 month, if workload stayed as it is currently, that would be $60,000 over the course of 1 year. So I'm just thinking this through out loud. And that's providing we don't see a boom with new parks being developed and things like that going forward, which all arrows indicate that's going to start to happen, not to the a level that it was prior, but things are starting to move in that direction again. So I can't support your firm at this time. I would be happy if we had our planning staff back, and maybe you assisted them as they needed on certain projects. It's not personal, it's just how I feel, so I just want to let you know that. But thank you
Mary,
for your
and
presentation.
Larry, if I can, tomorrow Cameron Benton is coming into the office with myself. And what we do plan on doing is re-going through this list, not to change your opinion or to argue with any of you up there. But we are gonna go through the list and see which projects Cam can give us more help with the hours he's has there to help us with, and which programs or so forth that maybe the staff can do. So we are trying to get that list together with Garrett leaving. It's been a little busy, but we do plan on working with Steve and Cam and trying to get a list together that is conservative, and we will present you with that list, I'm sure.
Thank you. Commissioner Salas? Questions for Mrs. Thiis?
No, I have discussed the needs right now with this, with our interim director, and what Hitchcock Design can provide for us at the present time, considering that we don't have the planning department here at the moment. And even if they were to be here for a whole year, and we don't have a contract set up for something like that, but it still is considerably less, since we don't have someone in charge of the planning department right now. And whatever assists the interim director right now, I think this is the key focus of what we need right now, what will work, that could work on an hourly basis, like you said, with, as the interim director says, with Cameron Benton for the Park District right now is what I want, what will work the best to promote the Park District's goals for right now, until such time as either a new planning director is put in place, et cetera, et cetera. That's my comment.
And that's what we're going through right now, not to defend myself, but just for a point of information. I don't want to put Steve out of a job, but the day may come where we may decide that we should have an entirely different setup. We're in our infancy at this time, using Steve's knowledge to teach us, so that we can move on with the planning. We're not sure that there'll never be a planning department. I'm not. Okay, let's put it that way, but between Steve and Cameron, we're trying to learn, we're trying to make our minds what's gonna come of planning for the Park District. There is
I got one more question there, here, Steve. Steve, on your group, on your background with your team that you have, I understand Mr. Cameron did not have an engineering degree, but he had just strictly, in regards to his qualifications, in architectural design.
That's just ignorance.
qualifications.
Ignorant.
That's a personal attack.
That's
It's not
ignorant,
even
Peter.
Excuse
here.
me, ma'am. We discussed
Steve,
before,
ask you
please.
in regards to our backgrounds and our assets.
And you didn't allow anybody any personal attacks on your people, but you're allowing him to personally attack somebody
Yeah.
who's not here.
Right.
Ben, please. And I'm going to ask you one more time. Okay, please.
Steve, can you explain to the audience or the commission in regards to your staffing, in regards to your background with the different departments, expertise?
Me personally, is that what you're asking?
Your person, co-workers in regards to your team, your group?
Well, Hitchcock Design Group is a landscape architecture and land planning company. We're about 30 people. We have offices in Naperville, Chicago, and most of our seniors level staff and mid-level staff are registered landscape architects with a bachelor's degree. Landscape architects and land planners.
Oh, isn't that the same thing, Cameron?
That is.
You respect Cameron Benton's degree?
Excuse me. use that camera
then. The item that I have before you tonight, we're just looking for some direction, because as we begin planning for our summer, or as we're already into our planning for the summer, in the past, our patriotic picnic has always had a fireworks display. We've alternated years that the board has requested that I go out and look for quotes. I did go out and seek quotes last year from Melrose Pyrotechnics, Mad Bomber, and 5 Alarm, which are 3 pyrotechnics companies that are licensed in the state of Illinois. That being said, would the board want me to go out and get quotes again, or are you fine with me going ahead with Melrose Pyrotechnics, who received the award last year, and going ahead and securing the fireworks display for the patriotic picnic at the same $17,000 amount that we had last year?
Commissioner Zawadzki, you want to answer?
How is your feeling in regards to the pyrotechnic group that you used this last year? Were you happy with them?
Melrose has been wonderful. We've used them for the past 15 years. When we've gone out and looked for quotes, they've consistently been the lowest when we've gone out. And because pyrotechnics shows, some people do consider them professional services because they're very difficult to compare one show to the next because it's based on the programmer. I went just based on a shot-by-shot basis, and consistently they have given us the most bangs for our buck, for lack of a better way of putting that.
She's here all week.
And I can say that the fire department has always been very supportive of Melrose Pyrotechnics because of their safety records within the state of Illinois.
I definitely support that. Okay.
Commissioner Spivey?
Look out.
I'm always in favor of getting competitive bids, so I just would like to go through the process and see what we can.
And I agree with the commissioner to give competitive bids.
Okay, so I heard 2 and 2. Do you want me to get quotes or not?
Well, the quotes you got were for 2 years, you said?
The quotes that I got were quotes from last year. I have the quotes from Melrose, Mad Bomber, and 5 Alarm. Last year in 2013, for the 2013 display, Melrose quoted us 3,127 shells or shots for a $17,000 program. Mad Bomber quoted us 1,661 shots for a $17,000 program. And 5 Alarm Pyrotechnics quoted us 2,490 shots for a $17,000 program.
So they got.
And that was in 2013. From my discussions with pyrotechnics companies, the prices have not changed significantly in the last year, so we would have a very comparable show.
How many minutes?
Last year was 18 and a half, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to go back and look at the actual.
All right, so the direction was to rank get quote, please. Thank you.
Okay, I can do that. Once I get the quotes, do I have the authorization of the board to go ahead, because it's at the $17,000 mark, for the best quotes or the most shots for the dollar, or would you like to see this again in March?
All right, Commissioner Zawadzki?
Well, I'm content with it as it is, but I will go with, if the members want to have this with until March. I will go either way.
Okay. Commissioner Letterman?
As long as it is going to not cause us to miss our date, because we're at a time of the year where there is a lot of demand, so.
Last year it came before the board in March.
Okay.
So if you would like to come before the board in March, that's what I would do.
Commissioner Spivey? Commissioner Lee?
I guess if we're gonna go for competitive bids, I'd like to see it before we make a decision.
I agree with Commissioner Lee. Thank you. Legislative report?
I handed out a copy of the 2013-2014 legislative platform from the Illinois Association of Park Districts. It has a number of bills and issues which they have agreed to keep track of and lobby for. The General Assembly has begun their session, but I don't believe that there's been much activity as far as new bills this year. But we will probably see some in the very near future with regards to OSLAD funding, grants, park funding, more grants, things like that. There's always issues that come up with regards to workman's compensation for underage employees, minimum wage laws, things like that. So we'll be watching that as it comes up. So.
Thank you, sir, appreciate your help. All right, action items. Seeking a motion to adopt resolution 2014-01, a resolution establishing a social media public policy. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Steines.
Yeah.
Lindemann.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Solosky.
Yes.
Furtado.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item B, seeking a motion to consider IAPD dues. Do I have a motion to approve the membership to the IAPD?
I'll put that motion forward.
Do you have a motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second? Discussion. Hearing none, roll call please.
Steines.
Good night.
Lindemann.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Solosky.
Yes.
Furtado.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, discussion items. Board direction of future services with each got to sign. Commissioner Zalowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Zuderman,
Discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I would prefer us to have at least one planning person on staff. Because when we get into grant writing and all of that, that's gonna be very time consuming.
so we need to direct our direction to our.
Okay.
I think you're headed the same way on that. What I have to do is get Cam on board. You know, he's got several hours that he can work with us, and go from there, along with Steve. You know, I don't think it's possible to go forward too well the way things are right now, because, just because of the time restraints of everybody's job, we have to figure something out here. So I'm not sure what that's gonna be, but I believe, Mary, that I would like to go that direction also, the direction that you're talking about.
Thank you. Commissioner Stein?
Okay.
Commissioner Zuderman?
I think it's premature to consider this at this point because we don't have a long-term plan for what we would have consultants do.
Looking probably, talk about giving some directions, some projects, so hopefully we can discuss that at next meeting. You guys are ready?
I guess I want to see what projects we're talking about.
Okay, all right, you guys agree to postpone to this
Yes.
further discussion to next meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea, because that'll give me a chance to get Cam in and get his feedback too.
Okay,
So, I think that's good.
sounds good, thank you.
We should hire him.
Item B, discussion to revision of the board manual in relation to the terms of the office to be consistent with the Park District Code. The Park District Code,
I'll go ahead. The Park District Code states that if a president is not elected through the general election, then the board would elect the president and vice president for a one-year term to be replaced when the replacement has been elected amongst the board. Our current board manual says that those terms are 2 years. So I was approached by the president, vice president, and asked to put this on the agenda for discussion tonight. What they would like to see is a change to our board manual to conform with the Park District Code in relation to the term of the president and vice president. So if it's the direction of the board at the next meeting, we'll have a resolution or an ordinance to approve the change to the board manual, just in the language and the terms.
sounds good, thank you. Commissioner Zalewski?
Can we make that retroactive?
Sure, we can, if we
So
want.
we can make it retroactive, so literally if we have elections this coming May.
You can do that.
Commissioner Lindemann? Commissioner Stein? Commissioner
Are we breaking the law by having 2-year terms for the various officers currently? We're not? So is there any reason why someone could resign from their duties as an officer if the duties become overwhelming?
Somebody could always resign in office.
How would you help them do that?
I guess I don't understand the reasoning behind the decision to change.
Well, the reason behind it is to follow the state code.
If we're not doing anything wrong, then why change it? Just up to
The way it's written now is fine. If we want to change it to mirror the language of the statute that says it's only a year, that's fine.
It's part of,
I know.
part of this code, it's present time,
What's that?
is it part of the standard code book in the Plainfield, or not Plainfield, but Park District code book?
The Park District Manual says that a vice president president shall serve a 2-year term until the replacement has been elected. The Park District Code says that that term is for 1 year.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we're looking at the directions here.
Doesn't make any sense.
Commissioner Saladsky, you are in favor of change it to 1 year? Are you in favor of?
Yes, I am.
Commissioner Ludeman, are you in favor of changing it to 1 year?
Only if we had to, but if we don't have to, I'd rather not, because right now it follows and mirrors our election cycles, and that's always made it easier.
And that's,
All right,
that's
so-
maybe the reason why it was done.
So you were, we need to get direction. Yeah or nay? No. Commissioner Stein? Yeah, yes, you want to change it to 1 year?
I think it's, you know, with the standard code.
All right, Commissioner New.
I don't see any reason to change.
I brought this up, and I think we should follow the rules of the state on the,
That's fine.
I mean, that doesn't mean necessarily you want to serve on 1 year. If you do it, you can get reelected every single year. So it's not a, they don't have a term limit per se. So the direction would be,
Prepared to appropriate.
yes, sure. All right, now I'm seeking a motion to go to executive session to discuss personnel, land acquisition and litigation as permitted under the Open Meeting Act under Chapter 5 of the Illinois Revised Statute 120/2, C1, and Chapter 5 of the Illinois Statute 120/2, C5, and Chapter 5 of the Illinois Revised Statute 120/2, C11. To reconvene. Do I have a second? Discussion? We're not, roll call.
Thiis, Ludeman.
Yes.
Newton. Slosky.
Yes.
Machado.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The only reason he wants that is so he could see what happens on it.